everybody. Go flix yourself. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Go flix yourself. Hey, everybody. Go flix yourself.
Hey, everybody. It's another episode of Go Flix Yourself. My name is Ben Conowitz, and with me, as always, is the Apple TV remote to my universal remote, Brad Froman.
Hey, that's me. I'm conveniently sized, and I do a lot of things, and I don't have too many buttons that overwhelm you.
I don't like that at all.
Oh, sorry. You're awful.
And with me, as always, in person and not remote, Nate Laux.
Hey, it's me. Does this sound like Brad? I've been working on. I drive sometimes, long distances.
Only sometimes.
Well, I literally live and work in like a quarter mile from each other. But sometimes when I'm driving on long distances, I try my Brad impression out. Hey, it's me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you got to get the quote correct. It's "Hey, that's me."
Okay. Well, hey, that's me.
Off to a bad start. And
hey, that's
I like
me.
to point out that Ben didn't give you like any identifier. He just said that you're there.
I was going to tell him that he was an Xbox 360 remote, but
I wouldn't know what that means.
That's just mean. It's just mean.
And I wouldn't even know it's a burn because I know nothing about video games. Can I be
my old Magnavox Tube TV remote, Nate Laux?
What about the original like Nintendo one with the two buttons?
There you go.
I'm pretty.
A controller.
I'm a basic.
You're a
person.
Controller. Hey, if you can't tell by now, we're recording this episode with Nate and Ben in one room and Brad across the nation.
The way we like it.
Yeah, I'm auditioning for Medieval Times in Denver, Colorado. So,
which night are you going for?
Yeah, which night?
I want Thursdays.
I knew you were going to do that, you son of a bitch. Hey, Brad, do the people know what this podcast is?
You know, I think we've told them a couple times, but in case they don't know, it's a movie podcast where we talk about the latest movies that we've seen, talk about some movie trailers, some general cinematic shenanigans. Sometimes we talk about TV shows. Today's going to be one of those instances, and we just like to have a laugh or two, you know, just like a little chuckle-rooney.
Nate, you asked if we could turn this into a TV podcast.
Yeah, and you guys blew up on me.
No,
it was a joke. And then what happened, Ben? You said, "Oh, I didn't see that you texted this thing earlier."
Yeah,
and you exploded.
I did. First of all, you deserved it, but I didn't. I didn't explode. I just said no.
You were so mad.
We're already.
So
he did type. He did type it in all caps.
Yeah,
I just typed no in all caps.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, it's not that big of a deal.
Very emphatic.
Okay. Well, we're not.
We have occasionally dabbled in TV shows that like have some cinematic ties, or are directly tied to movies that we've seen. It's usually Marvel, usually Star Wars.
Yeah.
Sometimes Stranger Things. And we do have one of those today, and then one we decided we want to talk about just because it involves someone that we really like, and it has some promising people in it as well. And so we just want to talk about it.
I want to push back against here, all right? Because I want to defend myself here in this text thread that I got.
Hey Ben, what's the last movie you saw?
No,
this is one of those times where I'm like, in that text message thread, Nate, one of the things was we're already bloated and long.
Okay,
and so we don't have time for this kind of stuff.
Don't tell me I'm bloated.
Yes,
all right?
Sorry, we can't.
I've been trying to lose this COVID weight for a long time. All right, but here's the thing. You say we're not a television podcast, right? And we're not. We're a comedy podcast.
We're a movie podcast.
Okay, but no, listen. It's my turn to talk, sir.
Okay,
sir.
Good day, sir.
But here's the thing: is there is now more than ever a blurring line between some of the highest production TV shows and film, and so when trailers come out that are, for these epic $75 to $100 million an episode type of shows, it is just, I think, as grandiose as a film. It's just not watched in the theater,
Brad.
But so are very few films anymore.
Brad.
So I think when a Lord of the Rings type of trailer comes out, or when the Continental comes out, which we're going to talk about later, it is worth talking about because it's grandiose. It is big.
I agree when it has something to do with movies, though.
Isn't that what I just said? Isn't that what I just fucking said?
But what I'm saying is I think you need to finally admit that we do that. It's not just occasionally. Like
we have always admitted that we do that, but it is occasionally because.
But then we're a film and television podcast.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. We're a film podcast that occasionally talks about.
I will rest my case after this. How many?
Do me a favor.
No,
Rest your case.
no,
period.
stop it. You
Go to
stop.
sleep.
I don't. I'm tired of hearing you.
Go to sleep.
Listen,
Go
He can mute you,
I
Brad.
literally
He
can't
can
right
literally mute you.
But hey, Ben,
Go
yeah.
to sleep.
how many of the
little
trailers we watched today
Yeah.
are television shows?
2 out of the 3.
case. That's
proven.
one episode.
Judge,
That's
I
one
rest my
episode.
case. I win.
I will agree that
Yeah.
I do think that that we're talking about the Continental, and that is very, very something that normally we would do because it is very much related to, of course, the John Wick movie series.
What about
The other one isn't. But I do kind of agree because there's a very famous actor that is semi-retired that's kind of making a comeback, and I like that. And also,
And Nate, let me just say, you would make a great lawyer because all of the best lawyers hinge their case on one small outlier of evidence.
well, yeah, I mean that's how that. I mean the glove for Johnny Cochran
exactly.
that
It
really
works.
won the case.
That's why you do it.
Yeah,
Like
that
one
wasn't-
outline
that was
for
one-
part of
one
evidence
piece of-
actually
that-
works to
actually
get
one
That's
more
not an
case.
outlier. That's not an outlier. That's a legitimate piece of evidence, you jagweed.
But it's one small thing that won the case, and it's small because it didn't
But
fit
it's
his
not-
hand.
But it's not.
I just think we need to honor how television has changed and evolved over the years,
Also, I'd like
and
credit
not
for
be
that joke.
afraid
Just
of
saying.
saying that this is also a television podcast for the certain type of television shows.
I
and we
will
don't have to be
never.
afraid of it.
I will never agree that this is.
Yeah,
a
but you don't agree this is a comedy podcast.
This is a movie podcast that's funny.
Hey, Brad, is it a comedy podcast?
No, it's a movie podcast. It's funny.
Thank you, Brad. I miss you.
By the way, but Brad argued, if you remember right, a few months ago, but I think he was just trying to push your buttons in a
Yeah,
text
he was.
thread.
He was.
He did argue it's a comedy podcast.
Yeah, he did.
I was so mad at you guys. Fuck it. Well, hey, sponsors tonight are what are you drinking over there? Big American. What is that?
Hazy Hearted IPA
Hazy
by
Hearted
Bell's.
IPA, and,
and
Bailey
then I
is
got
peanut gallery?
I'm double fisting it. I've also got a Big Hearted IPA.
Okay, and Bailey's got a zombie dust. I've got some Jack Daniels and Diet Coke. And Brad, what do you got over there in Colorado?
Do they have beer in Colorado?
Let me ask you something, Ben.
Okay.
What's your favorite combination snack food?
If you just brought water again, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
It's just
No.
he doesn't take this podcast seriously.
He doesn't, right? He's just forgotten the sponsor
No.
like
You
4
know,
times in a row.
A friend of the podcast, Charlie, has been contacting me almost every day asking when are we going to get rid of Brad and then ask him onto the podcast permanently.
Brad, if this is water again, you're on thin ice, and
asked-
frozen ice that could be turned into the sponsor next week. Water.
I asked what your favorite combination snack was.
I mean, is that a way of asking me what my favorite combo is?
Oh, do you like combos?
I actually do like the pepperoni pizza combos.
I haven't had a combo in years. Do you like the ones with the pretzel outside?
That's what combos are.
No, they also make like a regular.
No, they're cracker ones too. Stupid.
Yeah, the crackers were the originals.
Wait, I thought the pretzel one on the outside was the combo. Like
Yeah, no,
it's
there
a pretzel
are two-
shell
there are two
basically.
No,
and
the
paste
There are
in
two
the
different
middle.
kinds of There are two different kinds of combos. They are both the same shape, but one has a pretzel outside.
And
the
that was
other
like a
has
huge
cracker
innovation in the combo world. That was a huge innovation.
So yeah, pizza combos are my favorite, Brad.
Yeah, the pepperoni pizza ones are very good. I will give you that. But I'm gonna push back and tell you that there's a better combo out there, and you're gonna need to get yourself somebody.
Jordan Pippen.
The
Klay Thompson, Steph Curry.
That's right. The Chicago Bulls are today's. No, it's nacho cheese combos, my friend, and you're gonna love these because they do have a pretzel shell and they have nacho cheese on the inside,
Isn't
and
that
they
just
are
the-
scrum diddly umptious.
Is that new? Isn't that just combos?
No, the cheese in the normal pretzel ones is a cheddar cheese. The nacho cheese previously came out, but then it's been gone for a while, and it just recently came back, and it is better than ever.
I love Nate and I just made eye contact, and we're just like the amount that you know about this.
Well, listeners to the
is
podcast
staggering.
might not know that privately, Brad has very strong opinions on nacho cheese. Very strong opinions.
I didn't
No,
know.
no,
I didn't know you were
you're-
going with that.
No, he is absolutely right because
I've heard these strong opinions. He's got
because
strong
AMC theaters,
Okay,
theaters,
all right.
they have a new nacho cheese in
Oh,
our region.
God.
It smells and tastes like feet. It's not the old Tostitos nacho cheese that it used to be, and it is disappointing, my friends.
Finally, you get to say
Somebody says it. Finally.
I will have you know, I reached out
so
to
angry.
AMC theaters.
Oh, shut up.
I'm not giving,
No,
I'm not
No,
lying to
because
you. He has strong opinions about nacho cheese.
because I wanted to find out if this was something that they did like across the board at the entire chain.
Did
but
you
it
hear what he
turns
said?
out-
He wrote them.
I know.
He got a
I
hold
was
of them.
I was gonna write about this at Slash Film as like a concession snack, as like a concession snack thing.
and like
and I
blast
found out-
AMC.
I found out that they have different cheeses in different regions, and it varies based on like the availability or like what's
They're
in
like,
the area.
you know what Indiana needs? Feet cheese.
Yeah,
those poor people
they
don't
couldn't
give a
tell
shit.
me. They couldn't tell me like how far, like where the
I bet
region stops
Wisconsin
as
has
far as
good
like where they have
cheese.
different cheese and stuff like that. But yeah,
If you go to
Real
Wisconsin
disappointing.
and you don't get good cheese at your theater, I'd be pretty pissed.
I bet
I'm
Brad
not,
would.
I'm not sure
Brad,
that Wisconsin is good with nacho cheese though. They're probably good with like cheddar cheese and stuff like that. But I'll bet you they're
I'll
not
take
nacho
cheddar though.
cheese experts.
I'd take a cheddar. I love a good cheddar.
What's your favorite like just non-squeezy cheese? Like I don't want like
No, Brad
melty
doesn't
cheese.
eat non-squeezy
Like
cheese.
what like if you're having a sandwich, you get like I like Gouda.
Oh yeah, I love a good Gouda cheese on a deli sandwich.
Yeah. Welcome to Sandwich Corner.
Yeah. Welcome to delving into it.
Oh boy.
I am kind of partial to a sharp white cheddar.
Take it or leave it.
That is really good.
All right. Nacho cheese combos.
Yeah, nacho cheese combos. Go, just look for them in convenience stores and wherever you get your combos.
Wherever you combos are a road trip snack.
Are they?
They really are.
When I go to
consumed in a road trip.
When I go on a trip in the car and I'm loading up, I will normally get like a Reese's peanut butter cup, and I will get like
Is that the only time you eat a Reese's peanut butter?
No,
cup?
no, I eat them a lot. But Reese's peanut butter cup, beef jerky,
Oh,
and a
how does your stomach handle
and
all that?
combos. Oh yeah, I'm a big.
It doesn't.
I'm a big old fatty, so it's fine.
No, but don't you have to like visit the restroom a couple times on the
I
way?
got an iron constitution.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes sneak combos into a movie theater and just feel good about yourself.
No, I don't like to cheat.
I don't either. That bothers me.
It's not cheating.
Bothers me.
It is cheating. You're not supporting the theater. You
It's how they
complain
make
that-
their money.
You
are
complain that-
such
oh my God, you
I
fucking
can't believe
hypocrite.
You do this. Like you literally are such a like people need to go to the movie theater. How do you think they're making the freaking money? Is off the cheese that you won't buy anymore.
I'm still buying a drink. I have an AMC
I'm
sub
still
subscription.
buying a drink. That's your excuse?
Yeah, it's 100% my excuse. And unless AMC Theaters wants to up the quality of the theatrical experience, they can suck a fat one.
What came first, though? The denigration of the...
Yeah.
What came first?
Why do you think they can't-
or the terrible cinematic
Why do you think they
experience?
can't afford to upgrade, Mister? I bring my own cup and refill it every time I go in.
I bring my own warm milk into the theater for Thor.
It is never
Did he
warm.
really?
Yes.
And if
You
they
brought milk.
He
we
brought
talked
milk.
about this.
Who brings milk?
We talked about this. We talked about this already on the podcast. You know this. Anyway, the point is, if the theater had milk,
You know what?
we wouldn't
listener?
have this problem.
You know what, listener? If you want to know the milk story, you go back and you find where we talked about it, okay? I don't have time to
Yeah.
get back into this.
And also, if you don't want me to do that, have milk at the theater. And
Oh, no!
Warm milk.
No.
Warm milk. You know what? Do you want some yogurt too, or like some cottage cheese?
Ooh, now you're talking.
no, Ben would eat like a whole bucket of cottage cheese at the movie theater.
I
Are you
would.
kidding
I
me?
love cottage cheese so much.
Oh,
It's
so
my
disgusting.
favorite food.
So
it.
disgusting.
Any fucking way. This is a movie podcast. Nate, what's the last movie you saw?
Saw a couple of movies. Let me get in before I get to the assigned movie. I rewatched Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which is you can rent now. My kids wanted.
Oh,
to
you
watch
already rewatched it, huh?
You saw it twice now?
I did. I saw it in the theater, and then my kids wanted to watch it, so we rented.
I haven't
it.
even seen it once yet.
I also saw 65.
Me too.
Oh, nice.
I didn't like it. Did you like it?
I
I went in with high expectations.
go ahead.
Why would you go in with high expectations?
Go ahead and explain.
Okay, listeners of this podcast, Brad, will know that we talked a lot about these trailers, and we were very excited about this film. And so I went in, and I didn't honestly. I saw that it wasn't getting great reviews.
Oh, you
but-
know what? He didn't listen to the episode that he wasn't on, where I talked about seeing 65.
Oh, I did not.
and-
No, I did not. If I'm
Yeah,
not on the
see,
podcast, there's not much reason to listen.
Wow.
But I re-listened to every episode I'm on.
By the way,
to
I
hear
just
myself.
want to point this out. I've never missed an episode. You have both missed an episode. I've never missed one.
That's not true.
Well, that's because we need your
I've
house.
always been.
Hey, we
on
do
the show.
record at your house, which is kind of awkward. Though I do know how to get in here without him. So
What?
But
No.
What?
I didn't love 65. I thought it was just it didn't grab me. There was never a moment where it just grabbed me. It had a lot of good parts to it. Like of course, some good acting and stuff like this. But it wasn't like a cohesive story for me. So I didn't love it. Did you like it?
We decided that the score took us out of the film.
Oh, the score.
And
Oh, weird.
it was
Yeah.
so strange because we actually paused it at one point and said, like, wouldn't it be awesome if this scene was allowed to develop with all this without this insane melodramatic music and tension building with this stupid score? It's from the writers of The Quiet Place, right? A Quiet Place,
but yeah.
And they forgot that they can use ambient noise and silence to build tension. Every single scene in this film is full of music, and it's overbearing and not great.
See, to me, I didn't mind that because it felt different from A Quiet Place, because A Quiet Place does, do that a lot. And I think that they probably did this intentionally because they wanted to have a more of an old school adventure movie where the score is present all the time and doing some of the emotional heavy lifting and like giving you stuff where you're not necessarily feeling it, in the scene, but the music helps develop that.
Yeah,
so I actually like that.
No, it was so heavy handed though. Like I get it that you can have a score raise tension and do things, but it was like blaring horns and shit. I'm like, fuck, man. Like it's almost louder than the dino roar. Like, what are we doing here? It just really took us out of it. But overall,
I didn't mind that.
It was we liked. Of course, I love Adam Driver. The kid actor was fine.
Did you like it though, Brad? I'm sorry, I didn't listen to it.
No, I did honestly. I wasn't expecting it to be this groundbreaking thing, and I liked it for what it was because it felt like an old school kind of survival adventure thriller, and I liked that it was. They didn't really push this, and I almost wish that they would have, because I feel like they could have gotten some families in to see it, like the same families that took their kids to see Jurassic Park, in 1993. Like those kinds of families with kids who are, maybe flirting with some like scarier PG-13 material, but not ready for, big monsters or anything yet. Because the dinosaurs in here are kind of scary and stuff like that, but it's not anything worse than Jurassic Park. And so for me, it felt like a cool family adventure that I would have loved if I was, 11 or 12.
And I want to point out that I did not hate this movie whatsoever. We still really enjoyed it. I just think it would have been way better if they would have done a little bit different things with the score.
There's I think there were improvements to be made in the story. There are some logical choices that didn't quite make sense to me, and things like that.
It just didn't emotionally resonate with me as much. They move on pretty quick from the beginning of the Adam Driver beginning kind of story. They move that pretty quick, and so you don't really connect to Adam Driver right away. I mean, he's doing nothing wrong. He's living out the script they write for him.
We did notice that though, that for a guy that has whatever family guy to like kind of just be like, yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah,
it was like, okay, well, you really are definitely not the same person I just saw.
Well, that's the idea though, is that his daughter has died and now he feels disconnected and, doesn't have that, like he has to reconnect, like, and feel that empathy and like those feelings again, because he's cut himself off.
What I'm saying is there wasn't enough build up to show that necessarily. They were really quick to get to the point, as Nate said.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could have drawn that part of it out a little bit more and
give me another 5 to 10 minutes of that at the beginning
and show the devastation and how he changed before he got
I think that changes the film a little bit for me.
I want to, if you see how devastated he is and how he has changed before he goes on this trip.
Exactly. And then you care a little bit more about him.
For me, I think that's something that they wanted to do gradually, though, the same way that she realizes gradually, like learns more about him as she's connecting with him and sees what he's like as he starts to open up and realizing what he's been through and that kind of thing. And so I feel like if you do it way at the beginning, then you're shoving it in people's faces too much. Be like, hey, feel something for this guy.
Yeah, I think they could have aired a little more on that side, though. Just a little more. Give me a little more of him, a little more of that story, a little more emotional connection. And I think I would have bought, because it just kind of goes in then, right? It goes into the dinosaurs and the scary parts kind of a little bit more pretty quickly.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
I just didn't love it.
Could have been better.
I went in really with high expectations, like I said, because we did love the trailers. Brad, you might not remember that, but we loved the trailers.
No, I do remember that.
I also watched another film, guys.
What'd you watch?
I was assigned a film called Good Night and Good Luck. Did you assign this to me?
No, it was Brad, but I've seen it and I love it.
Brad assigned this to me, and I do love historical drama films. This is right up my alley. The only thing is it's in black and white, guys.
Like that's a bad thing for this film.
So this
I need more color.
This film was directed by George Clooney, and it's the story of Edward R. Murrow. If you're familiar with journalism and everything, you're going to be familiar with him. And the fight kind of against the Red Scare and Joseph McCarthy. It is actually somewhat, I don't know how recently you guys have watched this, but it's a little bit relevant now in that we don't really have an Edward R. Murrow. So Edward R. Murrow was reeling, and I of course watched it, and then I had to like do a deep dive. Yeah. And one of the things that always that interests me is I was watching some clips of the real Edward R. Murrow, and in the film they do this, right. He's always smoking a cigarette.
Right.
He dies of lung cancer at like 57. No shock, right? He, I guess, apparently smoked 3 to 4 packs a day.
Jesus.
He could not have his, like, apparently if he went more than, I guess, 15 minutes without a cigarette in his hand, he just started getting shakes.
Wow.
But what was interesting is, so you go back and if you YouTube Edward R. Murrow clips or something, you'll see him, and they don't really show the cigarette. You just see the smoke in the, like, coming through. And I just thought that was really interesting because here's probably the, on the Mount Rushmore of American journalism and the impact that a journalist has had on America's democracy, and even I would even argue the evolution of us as a country. But again, when you compare it to where we're at as a country right now, and we're recording this on the date that the Dominion lawsuit got settled with Fox News. I was kind of hoping for the actual jury trial because there was going to be a lot of discovery there. I think would have been important. But how media can influence.
How media does influence.
Yeah, but can choose to influence in whatever way it wants.
Right.
And so when you have somebody that's fighting for, I think, truth and justice and like the right things, you have an Edward R. Murrow, and the country needs that. And so when I watched this, I loved it. Great film, well done, ensemble cast. George Clooney directs the hell out of this. It's really good. But I kind of got sad because I thought, we don't have that right now. And more than ever, we need that right now. Like we need, because I'm not going to be overly emotional and say, oh, there's a McCarthyism coming out. There's not necessarily, but there are slices of it. There are factions of it. And if given a chance and if not pushed against, there would be right now versus groups of people.
Well,
Let me finish with this real quick, Brad. It's a great film, but also I think even though it's almost 20 years old, remarkably still relevant today. Go ahead, Brad.
No, and that's to me is like one of the best things about this movie because this movie was also relevant around the time it came out, despite covering this history that happened, decades ago. It came out in 2005, a few years
like Iraq
after
War kind of time, or
after 9/11.
Okay.
And so
yes, the Iraq War,
yeah, and you basically have. Similar to the Red Scare, you have the Patriot Act, and you have all these people, pushing you and like seeing, are you a true American?
Yeah.
Are you a real American? These kinds of things. And you have, this government pushing and invading people's privacy and like all this stuff. And so this was like really a proxy for like showing us, look, this has happened before and it's happening again. Like, and unless you do something about it, unless there's somebody that like stands up to this, then like, we're heading towards another Red Scare basically.
Because Americans by and large don't know how to control our emotions, right? Do you remember? And do you remember back then? The Dixie Chicks or something say, we're ashamed that the president, I think they were in England or something. The Dixie Chicks in a concert say, we're ashamed that the president of the United States comes from our state.
They got canceled. They really did. They lost everything.
My word. Breaking CDs and threatening their lives and
It was incredible the backlash that they received
just
for that.
Unbelievable stuff, right? And they were accused of not loving America and not being patriots because all they said was, we don't stand for this war, and we're embarrassed that the president is from our state.
Right.
Yep.
Right? It's just, like you said, Brad, it was relevant then.
And now you got transgender cans on the Bud Light. and my he was never a white rapper. He was always a conservative rocker, Kid Rock. He's doing the right thing by those Anheuser bitches, and he's fucking telling it how it is with his AR-17.
It's I highly recommend you watch it though. Good night and good luck. You almost probably everyone's watched it, but I had not, and I was glad I did watch it.
One of my favorite tidbits about this movie, because I learned a lot about this movie because I loved it at the time, and when I was in college, we had a class that was focusing on post 9/11 cinema, because there were a lot of movies that came out in the mid to late 2000s that were about the aftermath of 9/11 and
World Trade Center.
And the Iraq War and all this stuff. And it wasn't always stuff that was directly tied to 9/11. It was stuff that was just about the military and the government and things like that. And so I did a whole, in the class I was in, we were able to pick a movie that we wanted to present to the class and like lead the discussion on it. And I chose this one. And so like I did a bunch of research about it and everything. One of my favorite details about this movie is Clooney talks about how they originally thought about having an actor come in to play Joseph McCarthy. And they didn't mention any of the names that they tested or anything like that, but they said that every one that they tried to use to do the part, like to audition for anything like that, it felt like when they were reading the lines, and this was the exact stuff that Joseph McCarthy said, that it felt too exaggerated and too embellished. Not because they weren't performing it very well, but because people probably just wouldn't believe that this was what he said, because it sounds so ridiculous. And so that's why they decided every time Joseph McCarthy appears on screen, they use the actual archive footage of Joseph McCarthy throughout the movie.
And it was a smart decision by them because of that. Like you need to see the real history to understand the gravity of the movie.
So,
yeah. And it goes out saying that David Strathairn is just incredible as Edward R. Murrow as well.
Yeah, an actor that we talk about, we've not talked about him, but we talk about this type of actor that just always chews up the scene when they're in. You might not know their name, kind of, and
yeah, I didn't know that was what his name was, by the way.
No, I didn't either. But I'd recognized him. I've seen him in so many things, and I love him every time I see him. But he's going to have.
If you don't know who he is, he's the guy who says, "Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne."
Yeah, yes, he is.
But he's a guy that's going to live and die an incredible career. But I don't think a lot of people will know his name as much. I mean, obviously, film buffs will, but
yeah, David Truthron. What is it?
David Strathairn.
Yeah, I knew that.
Sure, you did.
Shit. Anything else, buddy?
Nope. That's all I watched.
Brad, how about you?
Nate, I owe you an apology because I intended to watch Finch today in the time between work and my thing, but I got caught up talking to Brittany's family.
I even gave you a film that you said you wanted to watch.
I know, and I do want to watch it, and I will make sure I watch it before the next one. But so I didn't get a chance to watch that. But Ben, you'll be happy to know I did watch He Got Game on my flight out here.
I mean, that was your assignment.
I know, and so I'm letting you know that I did it.
Wait, you watched that on a flight?
No, I watched it while I was bicycling across the country.
No, like I was just clarifying. Like you watched the R-rated movie He Got Game.
Are you saying
on, like,
there's
your laptop?
scenes in there?
Yeah. Were there kids around you?
So thankfully, I was in the back of the plane and nobody could see because there are some boobies.
I was gonna say there's some pretty aggressive stuff going on there.
Brad watched it in the bathroom.
Yeah, you had a blanket up over your head. It was fine.
It is only quick flashes though. Like it's definitely graphic, but there's not.
It's not gratuitous. Like
scenes.
It's not extended. But that
So it wasn't too much of a big.
We showed. So we do this event in LaPorte called Inappropriate Trivia, and we do it. We've done it for charity for years and years now. And I showed the threesome scene on the projector in the Civic Auditorium in front of like 700 people, and in that scene, it's Jesus Shuttlesworth is in bed with two bimbo-y looking girls, and they are definitely having sex, and there's boobies everywhere. And then a guy walks in, and the question was, who is that ex-NBA player? That was the question I asked. Do you know that name, Brad?
Yeah, of course I do, because I was watching the NBA during this time when he was actually famous. So it's Ray Allen. He's the one who plays the main character in this, Jesus Shuttleworth. And he stars in this movie as he's basically the number one prospect out of high school to be drafted to college basketball. There's NBA prospects who want him. Everyone wants a piece of him. Everyone wants to know where he's going. And he's kind of just, over it, he just wants to play and he's sick of it. Meanwhile, Denzel Washington plays his father, who is in jail. And he's given the chance to strike a deal to get out early if he can convince Jesus, who is his son, to go play for Big State University because the mayor or the governor is a big State fan and wants him to go there. And if he can get him to sign a letter of intent, then he'll let Denzel out of prison early. And he's supposed to be in prison for like another 15 years or something like that. So the movie is like about him trying to reconnect with his son, also trying to convince him about this. But like, even in a larger thing, it's about like the position that, these black athletes are put in and just, the system around it and how it just turns it into, you know, this big circus essentially. So yeah, this is an awesome movie. This is exactly the kind of sports movie that I like. If you don't know, it's directed by Spike Lee. It is a Spike Lee joint, and it's a great movie. I really like the performances are great. It's I can't say, you know, enough good things about it. I liked it a lot.
So back to my original question though, the answer is not Ray Allen. Who is the NBA player that walks in on them having the threesome? That was the question I asked in the trivia.
That walks in on them having the threesome.
Yeah, he's an ex-NBA player. He walks in and they're having the threesome, and he like comes in and just like that's how the scene ends, where he just walks in and goes, "Oh," and then he interrupts him. His name.
Oh, I don't know.
Is it like Rick Fox?
Rick Fox. There you go. Nicely done, Nate.
I knew he
Wait a
was.
minute,
I knew he was in
it-
that. Rick Fox has been in a lot of stuff. Though.
Yeah,
He's got an acting.
He actually
career.
had a bit of an acting career.
Yeah, so this is why I was confused. He doesn't walk in on them at the threesome. He's the one who takes Ray Allen into the threesome. Like,
Gotcha. So
like he goes to the unit. It's Tech
them-
U that he's at.
he leads.
And he's the one who's trying to convince him to go to the school.
So he leads Ray Allen's character into the threesome.
Yeah,
and
and then he
says,
leaves him to
"There you
to
go."
hook
Yeah,
up
yeah.
with him.
And I remember we showed that scene of him walking, and then the whole threesome scene happens, and then of course the question was it was at the beginning of this scene, who was the gentleman that introduces Ray Allen to these nice ladies, and the answer is Rick Fox.
So yeah, but yeah, great movie, a good pick,
Yeah,
Ben.
really solid. I remember watching that when it first came out, and absolutely loving it. What
The
else
one
did
thing
you
I will
watch?
say
Oh, go ahead.
is Ray Allen, maybe not the best actor, but he got the job done.
Again, I do like that they chose a real basketball player though. Obviously there are a lot of different NBA players you could have chosen. I don't know why exactly they went with Ray Allen, but back when they did Blue Chips, you had Penny Hardaway, you had Shaq. They did a pretty good job.
Who would you say? And we got this, but who would you say is a current or former professional basketball player who is the best actor that you've seen?
Wow.
I mean, Rick Fox.
Rick Fox is really good. Yeah, he's a very good actor.
He's been in stuff where he doesn't play a basketball player, and he's a good actor. I mean, LeBron's not bad in the comedies. He still has a little bit of stilted delivery.
Boban in John Wick 3, very good.
Okay, sure.
You remember him at the beginning of the library?
Yeah.
What about John?
I mean,
was it John Sally in the Bad Boys films?
No, John Sally is a comedian now as well. So like,
he does comedy.
So he hosted a show on I think Fox Sports 1 where he was a talking head, and he became a very big personality. And so John Sally has comedic chops for sure.
Yeah. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was great.
Yeah, great in Airplane.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
I think that's about it.
if anybody else has really done any dramatic.
I mean, I don't know
work,
if you've seen. There's a film from the mid-90s called Space Jam, and Michael Jordan was
not good. Not great. I would say that Charles Barkley was a better actor in that film than Michael Jordan.
Some of the basketball players in Eddie were actually pretty good when they were playing themselves. That Whoopi Goldberg movie.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree that like LeBron James in Trainwreck was really good.
Yeah,
like
George Mirasan and My Giant.
Oh.
I've told you this before on this podcast. It's Jorge Mirasan.
He's Romanian, Brad. Get it right.
Yes, George Mirasan.
Wasn't Dennis Rodman in a couple films in the 90s?
He was.
He was in Double Team with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. And Shaq.
Me and Ben's brother Alex used to like to watch that movie quite a bit.
Man, you can't go wrong with some JVCD. What do you, Jean-Claude JCVD? Yeah.
Yeah, it's CBD oils.
That's how he did the splits. He had the oil joints.
That's how they did it. Yeah, and so that's pretty much it for my movies. I haven't been doing a lot of movies since we last recorded, so I gotta do some catching up.
Benny boy,
that's all right, man. I came out swinging this week, boys.
Yeah, you watched.
I watched 4 movies.
Did you watch one film?
I watched 4 films.
Did you watch 2 films?
I watched 4 films.
Did you watch 3 films?
I mean, I'm gonna let you answer a question here.
Ben, did you watch 4 films?
4 films. So I watched to run through them. I watched 65. We already went over that. I watched How to Train Your Dragon 3.
You're
the hidden world.
The Hidden World. I really wanted to finish. I loved it. It's great.
It's a great series.
Great series. So glad I watched it.
Oh, did you get sad?
Of course.
Yeah, I got sad that one.
Yeah. Also, I had to look up who played the villain in that because it's one of those actors again that I was like, oh, I can't place the name. He's the guy that was in
Another character. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Another character actor that does a
Grand
lot of.
Budapest Hotel and Amadeus. But I don't remember his name. Shit.
He doesn't like to prepare for the podcast.
Dom DeLuise.
Isn't it? No,
It's not Tom DeLuise.
his name is F. Murray Abraham.
There we
and
go.
coincidentally enough, he just got canceled.
I was
today.
just gonna say.
Oh, no way.
I don't think we could talk about him anymore.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Today?
Well,
Yeah,
I think
today
yesterday, but yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I guess
no.
technically a little while ago because he
Holy shit.
left season 3 of the Apple TV Plus series Mythic Quest, and today it was like reported that it was because of sexual misconduct allegations.
And the dude's
Whoa.
83. It's time, dude.
Yeah,
Keep it in the pants.
Wait, he recently had sexual allegations against him, or is this like stuff from Amadeus?
Yep.
No, like White Lotus.
no,
like,
yeah,
Or sorry.
White Lotus. Yeah, I mean, this is stuff that happened recently. Then it's why he was removed from a show with a season that is not come out yet.
At 83, he's touching vaginas and stuff. Like, what's
I
happening?
mean, I don't
here?
know if he's touching vaginas, but he's
Yeah, I don't
certainly
know. I don't know
making
the
women
specifics.
feel
He's
uncomfortable.
Definitely reaching for him.
I mean, he's certainly making women feel uncomfortable. and
Good
doing
Lord,
some
what the
things
fuck is wrong with people?
to the point where, like, they didn't want him on set.
Clearly. Fuck
Yep.
that guy.
Yep.
Well, now I'm glad that he lost in the movie.
There you go.
Also, I did read today that it is official. Jonathan Majors is 100% canceled.
Well, it's definitely heading that way because
His PR firm dropped him. His management dropped him.
know.
He's done.
I don't know.
if you're-
He got let go.
These are major firms that have just parted ways. I mean, he's done.
It's a big investment for Marvel.
I don't care. It's done. It's too much.
I
I'm
100%
curious
agree.
to see-
And I, based on what we've heard, I think he probably should be. I'm just saying it is. Some people make it through these things, and if there's one that I think would make it through it, it'd be him. In that he's got a lot invested into him. So
Sure, but
I 100% agree. I'm not defending him at all.
no, I get that. I hope that he's canceled.
But you're right.
I feel like we're just waiting for Marvel to be like, yeah,
the dominoes seem to be. But he's, they've got Loki season 2 coming out right now, real soon here. He's a huge part of that.
And he finished that.
Yeah.
Finished that.
So
I think
that's something you can still cancel a guy and say, and then release a statement saying we're going to release the series because we didn't know about any of this, and you still put it out there.
I know, but it's hard.
for sure.
It's hard to. Yeah, you do that, but also there's gonna be a lot of people that don't watch it just because he's in there, and so it's gonna be
I think they're trying to figure out how to handle and what to do. I think that they will end up recasting him, and my bet I think what's going to happen is when they do recast him, they will do a credit scene or like sometime when you see the new whoever the new Kang is in Kang Dynasty, they'll have some kind of line where he says my previous iterations were weak and says like
they
this
did
is,
that, and they do.
I mean, it's the
true Kang.
multiverse; they can do whatever.
Well,
they
and
want,
they also
right?
do when people
Yeah.
die, like they did it with the Oracle
Yep.
in the
Yep.
Matrix.
Yeah.
They wrote a line in there. Speaking of other canceled people, they recast T.J. Miller's voice in the third one. He wasn't in How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh,
He was in the first
That's true.
two, and then he wasn't in the third one because he was going through all that sexual allegations and stuff.
is he still canceled or no? Is he?
He has no upcoming projects. I just looked it up last night because I was watching that. And I
Yeah,
was like, I wonder.
he's still doing touring
He's
for
a
comedy
fucking-
and stuff.
He's a
But
weird fucking guy.
Do
He's a
people
piece of
go?
he is.
Probably with him and Chris D'Elia, like on the same ticket. Like opening for Louis C.K. Yay.
Yeah, the Uncle Touchy tour.
Exactly.
The Uncle Touchy tour.
What else? What is the other one?
Yeah, there's another one you watched too. Lincoln.
How to Train Your Dragon, and 65.
65.
And I watched. What was the movie you sent me?
Nate?
So long ago, I don't remember.
I'm not joking. Like, why am I spacing? Oh no, Brad. I think it was you. It was Crazy Stupid Love.
No, it was me. I gave you that.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that's Nate. That's Nate. Yeah.
So,
But Brad loves this film as well.
So yeah,
I do.
It's great.
It's
It's
one of my
great.
favorite rom-coms of the
It's-
last probably 10 years.
And I'm not even going to call it really even a strong rom-com. It's more like of a buddy movie.
It's a comedy, yeah.
you
but
know, like it really is.
there's certainly a romance
There,
element.
for
but yeah.
sure. But I don't look at this as like
No.
a normal rom-com.
Exactly. It doesn't it doesn't sit in that genre well, but there's certainly
Yeah, elements.
It's funnier than a rom-com. It is. It's
And there's
more of a
and there's
com-rom.
definitely more of the element of like the two guys having the relationship. You
And
know.
they are just a great pairing, aren't they?
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Steve Carell could not have been. You know, Ryan Gosling, I think you could have cast that a couple
I don't know,
different
man.
ways.
That dude is just
He's
so handsome.
No, he's great. And honestly, but if you have an indelible person that could not be replacing this cast, it's Steve Carell. He plays that role so well. And he honestly, when he dresses in layers and is sweating his ass off, he looks good. You know, he really does pull off this kind of the macho kind of look, and it worked for him.
And I will shout out Steve Carell all day long because he is a great actor, and people don't always give him the props for being such a great actor.
Oh, if you have any questions, just go watch The Patient, the Apple TV show, and just
Foxcatcher.
holy fucking shit. But
the Dinner for Schmucks.
I knew you were going to do that. I will say,
Let the
so
adults
spoiler alert, in case you want to pause this
It's been out long enough, you're
or
fine.
mute this for the next 30 seconds. When Emma Stone is revealed to be his daughter, I stood up because I was like, I didn't see it.
You got
coming
M. Night Shyamalan?
at
I was
all.
gonna ask you if you did because
You got
I
a
didn't
night-
either,
yeah.
and I loved it.
I did too. I didn't
and then-
either.
so then
I saw it in the theater, and I'm like,
stood up and I was like, wait a fucking minute, he's too young. And then I paused it and I was like, what am I missing here, Bailey? And she goes, well, they call her Nana, like Anna Banana, and that leads you to believe that it's like a grandmother, and that's how they get away with it. And I'm like, that's perfect. It's great writing.
Yeah, it is
It
brilliant
hides
writing.
it.
Yep.
If you look at the clues were there, but you don't pick up on it. I mean, it's really clever. I know there's a line in that trailer, of course, that Emma says, like, what are you, photoshopped?
Yeah.
Like, that's a great line. They have such
They have great chemistry
and
as
then,
well.
I mean, even the bit players, like when he has to hang out with Marissa Tomei later, and she's like, fuck you. It's so good. It's so good. So, yeah, that is a 10 out of 10 romantic comedy. It is fucking fantastic.
I'm so glad you liked it.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy you assigned it to me. That was great.
Yeah,
and then
me too, I love it.
last night, randomly, I just I threw on The Hangover. I haven't seen it probably in
I haven't either.
5 years, 6 years.
How did it age?
Not super great just with the wording.
The first 5 minutes are a little rough.
Yeah, they use the R word and the F word. Not
the 4-letter F word.
Not
the
fuck,
the gay
but the
homophobic
gay F word. And they use it quite a bit. And honestly, I'm fine. I'm going to hell. But when they roll up, and Bradley Cooper is yelling, paging Dr. and he says it, I still laughed, and I'm going to hell. I get it. It's a funny thing to yell.
And I will say this too. I don't think that it's something where if you're laughing at it, it's like it's condoning it, because to me, I feel like that a lot of some comedy, not a lot of, I mean, I think in general, the entertainment world is probably scared of doing stuff like this, because this argument was made a while back, and this isn't like the best like a comedy to really like say we should critically laud this, but that movie, I don't even remember what the title is. What's that movie with Kevin James and Vince Vaughn where they work for a car company?
Kevin James,
They're like the marketing guys.
Oh, that the intern.
No, that's not it. That's Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. What's it called? Yeah, The Dilemma.
Oh, I've
The
never seen
Dilemma.
that
I
one.
They
don't
were-
think I've ever
Oh
seen
wait,
it.
no, isn't that
Yeah.
the one where he finds out that his wife's cheating on one of them?
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there was, when the movie came out, there was some controversy because the Vince Vaughn's character says a line or something about like saying a Prius is like a gay car or something like that, saying that it was homophobic and that kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, you're right, but that's the idea. Like, they're using that to define the character. Like, characters don't have to be perfect. Characters can say these things, and they can be assholes for saying them. Like, it can give you an idea of who they are.
No,
and to
that's
me,
fair.
that line coming from Bradley Cooper makes him seem like an asshole. And I'm sure at the time Todd Phillips thought, oh, this is just going to be hilarious just because he says this. But I think in the context of the movie, even after removed we're like 15 years away from it now, like that kind of shows that Bradley Cooper's character is kind of an asshole.
Yeah, it is
and
interesting though. In 14 years, I remember watching this at this time, and I didn't say the F word then or anything, or the R word at that point. My parents, my mom specifically, did not like those words. But it
Oh,
just,
see, I said it to my mom all the
I
time.
was gonna say, I was just over here, but like,
No, like-
man, these F words are all over the place. And my dad was like,
it
"Attaboy."
it
No,
was very like you cannot say those words. You are a bad person if you do.
yeah, my mom too.
And you still said them?
Well, yeah, because I was like 13, and my friends were like getting water with no ice.
Yeah, I'm a rule follower, but here's the thing: is it didn't bother me though. Because all my friends and like all the people around me, all the construction guys I knew,
Sure.
right? I mean, those words just kind of flew, and it's interesting that just in that short amount of time,
I'm glad that
It
we've
is
gotten away
not.
with it.
Yeah.
Or away from. Sorry. Wow. I'm glad we,
that's staying in. That
Son
is
of a
staying in.
bitch. I'm glad we've gotten away from it,
Freudian slip.
motherfucker.
Are
No,
you sure that's what you want to say?
because these days, I mean, there are so many different ways to show that a character is an asshole without resorting to those words and using it
Yeah.
for a cheap laugh. And so I want to be very clear. I don't ever want to see Hollywood do that again. I get it
No.
for the time that it was. Of course, the things change all the time, and you know, colloquialisms and vernacular changes. And I won't lie. The other line that should not be said anymore, but that I did laugh at, is that Zach Galifianakis' character mispronounces how to say the R word. So he says retard.
Yeah, I forgot
Well, he's a
about that.
retard. And the way that he does the inflection on it, it's funny. It really doesn't have anything to do with that word, though. It has to do with like it's a very
it does, but
it's a very common word that he should know how to say. And of course,
Yeah.
you know,
The comedy is in him mispronouncing the word.
exactly. And it's unfortunate that
But there's
is the
another
right?
word they probably could have used and still did that.
And
bit.
so I feel like
well,
these
and also
days you should
again,
move
that's
from
one that fits that is one that also does fit for that character because he like has real hard problem recognizing social cues or knowing appropriate
he's a guy
things
that
to
in
say.
his life you get the feeling that he's probably been called that at some point. you
Sure.
know?
And
Like,
and again, this means that we are smart enough and worldly enough now that we can come up with other ways to show these characters are weird or bad without using those words. It's a bygone era, but I will say, paging Dr. Brr, it made me laugh, and I'm going to hell. So there you go.
all right, hey, it's time for trailer time. Brad, can you give us a song, please?
We are here to talk about movie trailers. We're not here to talk about ship sailors. We're just here to talk about movies that we are excited to see. It's me and Ben and Nate. That's 3.
Dude, that
I'll
was
give it
like
to you.
Eminem.
I
That was
will-
like
no,
Eminem.
okay. That was like he had M&Ms in his mouth. But
Oh, I wish.
we're not here to talk about ship sailors.
You go where the rhyme leads you.
Hey,
all right?
you know what? Good for you, buddy. I couldn't have done that.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, let's see you do some freestyle rap.
Nope.
Yeah. We're the three of us are in therapy about making him sing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah. I'm about to head over to 8 Mile and get my rap on.
Detroit, Colorado, folks.
So we talked about we watched some trailers, and as we talked about before, a couple of them are for TV shows.
Want
But
to do the movie first?
So let's start off with the most TV trailer that we did,
Oh.
and that's for a new Peacock series called Bupkis, starring Pete Davidson, where he's basically playing himself. He's playing Pete Davidson. It's not necessarily entirely accurate to his real life, but it is inspired by his real life. Has a huge cast, but the one that we are most excited about seeing this is an actor who has basically been retired, except for recently being coaxed out by the one and only Martin Scorsese, and that is Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci came aboard to take a supporting role in this series, and I could not be happier to see him, especially doing comedy again, because it has been obviously The Irishman is a drama. But having him do comedy again, that's just something that I'm so excited about.
That helps me understand The Irishman so much better now.
See, because I think I saw the scene where Robert De Niro beats up a guy, and I was laughing the whole time.
Look at him.
Like, look at
They
this.
got him.
This would
They got
never
him.
happen. Oh God.
Joe Pesci
yeah,
is
so-
80 years old. My gosh.
Now, we're excited about this because, in case you don't know, we run a Saturday Night Live podcast where we review and recap new episodes of Saturday Night Live. Pete Davidson has been part of the cast for a while before he left last year, and he'll actually be coming back to host coming up on May 6th. So if you are interested in that, make sure you check out the 10 to 1 podcast, our SNL podcast. But this is a show that I'm very excited about because it looks funny. I do like Pete Davidson. And the guest stars in this movie are unbelievable. We're talking Ray Romano,
Brad, series,
Charlie. What did I say?
movie.
This big movie coming to the big screen. No, this series coming to Peacock. Supporting cast guest stars include Ray Romano, Charlie Day, Kenan Thompson, Jon Stewart, J.J. Abrams, Paul Walter Hauser, Jane Curtin, Chris O'Donnell, John Mulaney, Dave Attell, Nathan Fillion. I mean, like it's crazy how many
Wait,
people
you
are.
missed
Edie
the
Falco.
Machine Gun Kelly.
You missed the biggest one, Al fucking Gore.
That's not really a big one. He's done a lot of comedy.
What?
appearances
I mean,
like
that's
this.
huge.
So,
You also missed
That's fine. That's fine.
Jadakiss.
Jadakiss, yeah. Well, I did forget Jadakiss.
Oh, hey,
you're
you
right.
know, hey, do you know who's actually in this as well? This is interesting. Shane Gillis.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the one bummer.
I'm really
But,
excited about this as well. The interesting thing about Pete is obviously Pete admits to needing lots of therapy, lots of stuff. He's had a hard life. His dad died, in 9/11, these kind of things. And he's using so much of his story in this as well. But what I like about these types of series that make you laugh and cry in the same episode, and I have a feeling it's going to do this in here because I think this is, the King of Staten Island, these kind of things. I think Pete understands that world pretty well. He's not Bill Lawrence, but he understands the emotional elements of needing to laugh because you're so sad. I just really can't wait for this. This looks so good.
I appreciate Pete Davidson because if you're gonna build a universe about a character or about anything, you need to have them react in the real world, like how it would really go. And every time I watch King of Staten Island or I watch now this trailer, it seems like everybody in the show is reacting how they really would react, right? And it's not played for necessarily. I mean, it's funny, but it's not. There's not set up joke. It's just this is how people react, and that's what's funny about it. Pete Davidson seems to really get that, and seems to be able to build a world in which people are really reacting like they would just hanging out. And I can watch that all day long.
Joe Pesci's first television series in 37 years.
In 37 years,
Yep.
Twin Peaks.
No, that I don't know what the last.
Oh,
one
I don't
is,
know.
but
I was guessing.
But that is the
Actually, he was in a TV show that there's like the opening credit sequence for it like went viral because of how crazy it is. I forget what it is, but it's very silly.
He was in an episode of Tales from the Crypt in 1992, but the last show he had like a multiple episode arc on was a show called Half Nelson in 1985.
Wow.
I think that's it.
Hey, guess who else has starred? Victoria Jackson.
Victoria.
And hey,
crazy
here's
person
another
Jackson.
one. Dick Bupkis.
Nice.
Yeah. If you get a chance, and you guys can do this after we're done recording, go on YouTube and look up the opening credits for Half Nelson, and you will be shocked.
I'm in.
Edie Falco, I'll also give her a shout out. She's great in everything she does.
Any concern that this is a Peacock show rather than like on HBO Max?
No, don't hate on Peacock. Peacock's putting some good stuff together.
No, and I get that, but like the things they can't do. Can they swear on
No.
Peacock?
Peacock is full cable, like R-rated, whatever.
I thought it was just NBC.
And they've,
so like,
I think, kind of quietly been putting together a pretty good roster of shows.
and I think that's so. That's a good example though, because I assumed because it's Peacock, oh cool, it's going to be a laugh track and it's going to be
not at all.
No, Peacock is NBC Universal streaming service, but it is every bit as free with their content as Netflix or HBO Max or any of that. So
they need to get that out there.
Yeah,
they need to spread their feathers.
Cool thing about this is it's also directed by Jason Orley. And if you haven't heard of him, I would recommend going to check out 2 movies he's directed. Not only did he also direct Pete Davidson's stand-up specials, but he directed the indie movie Big Time Adolescence that Pete Davidson stars in. And he also directed I Want You Back, which is a great little romantic comedy with Charlie Day and Jenny Slate.
Wow, you know your stuff.
Wow, buddy. Somebody
Good
looked
job.
at IMDb today.
So what else? What are the movies you watch?
Well, so let's all talk about another trailer. And coincidentally enough, this is another Peacock show. They're our new sponsor, and they now own the podcast. But
I should know more about them, and I don't.
This is the one that is actually tied to movies because it is the Continental, inspired by the John Wick assassin hotel of the same name. This is a 3-part series that will take place in 1970s New York and dives into some of the earlier years of the hotel that is known for housing various dangerous assassins like Keanu Reeves as John Wick in the John Wick franchise.
Does that ending shot, is that Ian McShane's character showing up at the Continental?
I wouldn't be surprised if it is, and I do vaguely recall that I think that his character does have a role to play in the series, but don't quote me on that.
Because that's 50 years ago, and he would have been, 20, 25 because he plays a 75-year-old man now. So it's logistically possible, right?
Now,
I would not be surprised. And it is the Continental that is in New York, so it's going to be gritty 1970s. Just no one gives a shit in New York.
And that's all you see in the trailer. It's just a lot of gun violence, and you can still see flashes of the John Wick stuff here, but it's a teaser trailer, so there's not a lot to go on yet.
Yeah, and I do like that it is a 3-episode series as opposed to them trying to like stretch it out to like 12 episodes.
So this is
anything like that.
And I'm going to play stupid here because I am dumb. Like it's just a miniseries then?
yeah, it's a miniseries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just a miniseries.
Gotcha.
And it comes out in September. Now, Ben, in our private text thread, which we've referenced a couple of times here on the show, you write almost every day about how much you wish Mel Gibson would make a big return.
Oh my God.
Are you excited that he's one of the biggest stars in this?
So I just learned that, and that might be a reason that I just like wait to see, because if it comes out and it's like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, I might just have to. But if it comes out and it's like 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, 66%, I'm like, yeah, not worth it, because I'm not going to go out of my way to support that asshole.
You heard it here first. Ben Conowitz has renounced his big screen hero.
What are you talking? It's not my big screen hero.
It's just
I have seen
it's just
the
you take a
posters
very
for
different
all
tone.
4 Lethal Weapon movies in your bedroom.
You take
Yeah.
a very different tone on this podcast than you do in
I
the text
love
thread.
Danny Glover and Joe Pesci and Jet Li, and you know that about me.
Well, not all of them are on the poster for the first one, where you have drawn a big heart around Mel Gibson's face.
Literally
and
put
wrote "My Hero" next to it.
Ben Gibson.
Yeah.
And you, like,
How many years were you feathering your hair because you're pretending to be Mel Gibson's son?
10, Brad. You know the fucking answer. It's 10. From 1991 to 2001, I did it, okay? Am I proud of it? A little, because that was a great run, but I'm over it now, okay?
Well, I don't know. You're still drinking like Mel Gibson.
Fuck you.
And based on a comment you said about 10 minutes ago, it was kind of Mel Gibson.
Oh, God damn. You guys are the biggest assholes.
No, we really are.
All right, what's the third trailer?
So yeah, third trailer. This is for a movie. Finally, guys, we did it.
And
I mean,
coming back around.
As you know, we are a TV show podcast.
But no, this is a movie called Talk to Me. This is an officially Sundance selected movie. It is a horror movie. It got picked up by A24. I was lucky enough to see this during the virtual Sundance. And man, this one is going to knock you on your ass. It comes from Australia, a directing duo, Danny and Michael Philippou. This is their feature directorial debut. And this is just a really cool horror movie. The premise for it is basically the latest, trend that high school kids are doing is doing these seances where they connect to some kind of demonic spirit for a little bit, and that demonic spirit inhabits them for literally just like a minute. So that they can feel what it's like, and then they call them out of it, and they're just like, oh my god, like it's basically like doing a drug essentially, and they record it on TikTok and social media and everything, but of course one of them goes wrong, and they do it for
to turn it off. Which is insane to me. Like that's like typical fucking kids. Well, they started so something, can't finish it.
It's not exactly what happens. I won't spoil how it comes to fruition, but this is a pretty gnarly movie. It's pretty scary. There's some really great creepy moments in it. It's got a great cast, and these two directors really seem like they're going to be promising in horror. And I can't wait to see what they do next. And I can't wait for you guys to see this movie, because Nate, I don't know, because you're not a big horror guy, but Ben, I know you and Bailey are going to love this one.
Yeah, Nate, you've got kids. They turn on the lights and then they leave the room. They forget to turn them off. Like, what if it was like you turn on the lights and there's a demon, and they go, oh yeah, just forgot to turn them off, and now you got a demon in your house.
It's not what happens.
It's a trailer, Brad. We don't know.
I know. But yeah, so this one comes out at the end of July. Are you guys excited for this one?
I mean, I'm gonna see it.
I probably won't, but I just don't.
We're gonna have to sign it to him.
Nate, your nonplussed shrug right there, like when you said that. Yeah, I don't, probably not.
Probably won't. But hey, do any of the actors sing any songs or anything? Is it a musical?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, there's one musical bit where the
talk to me, demon in the night. Use your monkey paw fist and let me see. Talk to me.
See, you can do it now. What's the problem?
Oh,
what's the problem with
there's no pressure. There's no pressure there.
Oh
I just got to do it, and there was nobody was looking at me. Nobody was saying like, "Go now, do it now." It came organically.
His standard performance issues, I guess.
Yeah, ask Bailey. Shit, no, strike. Well, guys,
Well, so that's it for the trailers.
We did it.
Tell me a film or two that is terribly rated that people don't love. And Brad, it might even get you fired if you admit it, but that's okay. You don't need the money. What film do you love and will you defend that people just genuinely don't like? Or films. You can add more than one if you want.
I mean, I'm pretty easy on this one. I got a couple. 2004's The Punisher with Thomas Jane.
I don't think I've seen that.
Is legitimately I love that movie. I watch it probably once a year. I dig it. I like it.
Once a year?
I think it's a good movie. I don't even think it's like it's not like so
there
bad.
There are movies that I love that I don't watch once a year.
I think it had everything to do with when it came out and who I was as a person back then. It's a solid revenge flick.
Like so you argue in this, it's not like it's a campy, awful movie that you love. You think it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It is. It's got everything you need. It's got a good plot. This is
exactly what I wanted from you.
There's some well written stuff in there. Ben Foster is in it and plays the neighbor and does a good job. Thomas Jane does a good job as the Punisher. Honestly, John Travolta is a weird, creepy villain. It works. There's some really cool montage stuff in there. There's some. Him and Kevin Nash, the wrestler Kevin Nash, have a fight scene in a stairway that is brutal as hell. I'm a defender. I really like that movie. Suck it, America.
You don't know what you're talking about, America.
So there you go, Brad. There's mine. What's yours?
Wow. I think it's Jurassic Park, to be honest.
Oh, I hate you so much. Oh, the Lost. No. Wait, the new one, Jurassic World.
I just kind of like Schindler's List. I just think it's a.
So sue me. I like Goodfellas, okay? No, I think the worst movie that I genuinely
Rat Race.
No, I like Rat Race. That was going to be my answer. Actually, I love.
Yeah, that should be your answer. It's Jingle All the Way.
Really?
Like you think it's a good movie?
Like legitimate?
No. I don't think it's a good movie.
I think The Punisher is a good movie. So do you have any that you think is a good movie that people just got it wrong?
Especially in the world that you live, that you think that the critics maybe were really wrong about this, that it is a good movie. You know, because sometimes I see like on Rotten Tomatoes, right, where the critic score is like 14-15%.
Yeah,
you're like,
like
15% of
15 people thought it was better good than bad.
15% of these critics said, you know what, screw you 85%. You're wrong. This is good.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I know A Million Ways to Die in the West was pretty low rated.
And that is another one that is like, fuck off. That's a really good movie. It's it's fucking hilarious and you're wrong. Like,
I genuinely
if you think that's a bad movie, I don't know what's wrong with you. There are so many funny parts in that.
It has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes from
what?
critics, a 41% audience score.
Oh fuck, you're all wrong.
Yeah, this is mine. Yeah, because I love this movie. I think it is hilarious. I don't know why people have such a bug up their ass. I think it's because Seth MacFarlane can be kind of smarmy sometimes.
Whatever.
But I think he's hilarious in this movie. The movie's really funny.
My favorite line in that entire film is it's a Western, and he plays a son, and he comes home and his mom and his dad are sitting there, and he walks in the door and his dad goes, "You're late." And Seth MacFarlane goes, "For what?" And he goes, "Fair enough." And it's just this little subtle thing, and I died laughing the first time that I heard that line. It was so funny.
I mean, do you think it's comparable to Ted?
It's better than Ted.
I like Ted. I thought it was a funny movie.
Oh no,
I think A Million Ways to Die in the West is better.
Yeah. So what you're saying is,
yes,
it is a better film than Ted, because I think Ted was higher reviewed, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The critics actually liked Ted. You know what was not a great movie? Ted 2.
Yes, that's true. Ted 2 is not great. Yeah.
I'd like to see Seth MacFarlane do more movies, honestly. I think did you ever watch the Orville, by the way, his show?
I watched like 4 episodes.
No, I liked it. It was like basically a Star Trek.
Yeah, and I love Star Trek.
It's good.
There was nothing wrong with it. I didn't stop watching it because I didn't like it. I just found another show, I think. But
I think that it's a very well done show.
Do you guys ever have it? It's hard to watch shows right now because there's so many of them.
Well,
out, right?
you yell at me all the time. I'm through finally the second season of Mandalorian and the 5th episode of Shrinking, and now where's my fucking cookie?
Well, you haven't finished drinking.
Okay,
It's great though. Isn't
it is pretty good.
One other one I'll throw out there, and I think I've defended this movie on this podcast before.
Birth of a Nation. And let me
The
tell you
Watch.
what it was, it, Brad?
The Watch.
Oh, you have. Yes. If that
Yeah,
movie
I
had
love The
not
Watch.
come out, it was originally called The Neighborhood Watch. And if it had
Yeah.
not come out right when the Trayvon Martin killing happened, it would have done
Yeah.
way better. Literally, Trayvon Martin was murdered, and then it was supposed to come out like that next weekend. And so the marketing department dropped Neighborhood Watch and turned it into The Watch, and it just bombed.
But it is
Yeah,
funny.
so
I don't think I watched.
It's funny. Actually, Brad,
Yeah,
you should assign that to Nate.
Yeah, because I
Maybe I
think
will, yeah, 'cause
I think it received pretty terrible ratings, right?
Yeah, it has a 16% Rotten Tomatoes from
Okay.
critics and a 39% from the
Now,
audience.
do you
But
think this is a good movie, Brad?
Yeah, because it's a little messy with some of the story elements, but not enough that like I ended up hating it. I laugh a lot during this movie, and genuine like good laughs. I think it's a really fun premise, and it's very funny. The entire cast is great, and it's a Lonely Island movie. Akiva Schaffer directed it. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg worked on the script.
Is it better
it's
or
funny.
worse than Paul?
I think it's funnier than Paul. I think Paul is a better made movie.
Is it funnier than At World's End?
Yes, but I think At World's End is a better made movie. But that's also because I'm just a big.
You
Edgar
love
Wright
Edgar
fan.
Wright, yeah.
Nate, is yours Rat Race then?
I do love Rat Race. I would probably add though. I'll do another comedy because I find that oftentimes comedies have you get it or you don't. Right?
Other than The Punisher, sure, I'll agree.
But no, one, and I think Brad, it was you or maybe Ben that hasn't seen this. I will defend Till My Dying Day Without a Paddle being a legitimately funny movie.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one, and I've never really heard anybody say that it's good.
bad.
I love
It's
this
not good.
film. It is so funny. It is so funny.
Next, you're going to tell me that you love Strange Wilderness. Like it's not. These are not good films.
Oof, yikes!
You didn't like Rat Race either?
No, I like Rat Race.
No,
Okay.
I hated Rat Race.
I know you.
Well, yeah, we know. Listen, we know your opinions on.
And,
Rat
and
Race.
again, there might be. This came out in like 2003, right? So it is an old.
It's going to be dated.
Yeah. Or 2004. It is old. It's at the height
Probably
of, like,
hit you right in your college sweet spot.
it's at
probably.
like it is, and so like it's hard for me to separate the nostalgia for the film.
All right. Well, we did it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Another episode of Go Flix Yourself in the old record books.
And we want to hear from
And,
you. What are the films that you will defend until you
and by
die?
the way, it's got to be something you think is good. I don't want to hear this. Oh, I know it's a bad movie like Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
It's got to be something you think is a
or
good
like
movie.
Spice World, like I just think Spice World is just the
You
best
know what
movie.
I
It's
love?
like,
Coyote Ugly.
yeah.
Hey,
Unless you do really love Coyote Ugly, but
I just want you to know, Spice World is a good movie.
What?
Spice World is a good movie.
With the Spice Girls?
Yeah, it's like a satire
What?
of like
Wait.
the old.
Are you
And-
being, I can't tell if you're
It's-
being facetious.
in a Spice
no,
World,
I am being dead serious. Spice World is a good satire of the classic movies that the Beatles used to make.
I don't believe you.
I'm 100%. Bob Hoskins is in Spice World.
He was also in Super Mario
yeah,
Brothers.
exactly. Don't
Super Mario Brothers
don't throw
is
Bob Hoskins
stellar.
at us as if he's a foolproof great actor.
To be fair, Bob Hoskins did see something in the weirdness that was Super Mario Brothers. It didn't turn out well, but it's not. It wasn't. It was an interesting experiment. No matter how bad it turned out. You want to know who else is in Spice World, my friends?
The Spice
Do you
Girls.
want to know? All
Ginger
five
Spice.
of the
Is
Spice.
Ginger Spice? Is Ginger Spice in it?
Ginger Spice, Sporty Spice,
Sexy Spice.
No. Seriously, listen to who else is in Spice World. Stephen Fry, Jason Fleming. Are you ready for this next
I'm
one?
like, who are these people? Like, I know Steve Fry, but who's Jason Fleming?
Jason Fleming is like he's a solid British character actor. Elton John, Hugh
Meatloaf.
Laurie, yeah, Meatloaf. But the best one, Richard E. Grant.
Who's Richard E. Grant? I'll buy it.
Oh, come
Oh, Richard
on,
E. Grant.
Ben.
You've not seen the Loki series.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What
Who
are
is
we
it?
doing? Richard E. Grant is a great actor.
Okay, I don't know who that is, Brad. Not everybody knows how to do everything.
You certainly don't know how to do anything. There's probably nothing that I can tell you he's in that you've seen
Oh,
because you don't like the
boo.
kind of movies that he makes.
He was in The Hitman's Bodyguard. Did you see that
I
one?
did see that one.
Okay.
It's a bad movie.
Probably don't remember who he is though.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
Not great. But no, Jonathan Ross is in it. Jennifer Saunders,
Okay.
You're making up names.
Yeah, none of these are like
Yeah, you're
impressive.
making
Like,
up names,
you know,
Dominic
Oh.
West.
I can't believe
George
Jennifer
Wendt.
Saunders. I can't believe
They
they got
got Jennifer Saunders?
The fact that you don't know who Jennifer Saunders is just shows that you're completely out of touch with the comedy world.
No,
Was Air Bud busy?
Yeah, Air Bud was busy because he was making other movies.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We do appreciate you. Yeah, give us those 5 stars, all 5 of them on the online. We'd love it.
Subscribe, smash the like button, comment on Facebook,
Smash
email
it
Ben
so
and
hard.
tell him that he's a fucking idiot.
No.
Oh, it's my favorite comment. Our favorite review. Thank you so much. I don't know if
Wait,
that
the
was
one
on
they
the
called
10 to
me a
1.
fucking idiot?
Yeah, the 10 to 1 or this one, but it was my favorite review. It was so good.
In so many words, anyway.
No, I wasn't called. Guys,
Mention Ben
I
and
wasn't
maybe
called
say
a
something
fucking
about Ben
idiot.
in a review,
I
and
wasn't.
we'll make Ben send you
Tell
like a
us-
shirt.
So mean.
Tell us what the most complimentary thing Ben has said about Mel Gibson is.
Oh my God. You guys are the worst.
And we'll read your review on the air.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Nah, cheating, eh?